This segment is brought to you by Rouse's Markets. Feels like home.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. You know, a lot of times in our country, things happen that are senseless and they just don't make sense. And so that certainly happened on yesterday. I'm very glad to have with us Jeff Giles. Jeff, thanks for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
We appreciate it.
On this sad occasion.
On this sad occasion, right? Sure. And so Jeff's the Terrebonne Parish Republican Executive Committee. And listen, you guys, you and Lenore spent a great deal of time and energy really talking with people and sharing with people. Y'all got a chance to really know Charlie Kirk.
We have very close friends that are on his inner team. When you see those 3 or 4 guys that are with him on election night, we know a bunch of those.
Right.
Charlie was consumed with his job.
Right.
He did not socialize. He effectively integrated himself with people, gave his life to them, trained them, brought them up. I'm 70. I've done this for 47 years. I mean, Charlie was a young,
31 years.
Young spurt. You know, he was a gigantic force of energy. We would be around him and say, you know, hey, Charlie, how you doing? But the people that we knew, Tyler Bauer was one of his closest friends. Sobek is one of his closest friends. Bannon is, friend of ours and a very, very a mentor of Charlie.
Right.
He was devastated yesterday.
Oh,
he's mad.
I'm sure.
He's angry.
Well, and you know what? He should be.
Yeah, well,
we should all be angry.
Yeah, that's what he's our field general. And when he gets angry, it gets bad.
Right. Well, but we should be angry in a way that we want to do what Charlie did, which is to continue to encourage change for the good. Yeah, that's what he was about.
His big thing was encouraging discussion.
Yeah.
That's why it's so appalling that they gun him down, because what he wanted was what they all say they want, which is they want to be heard. Right. They want to tell us how we're wrong and how they're right. And I think everyone in America should have that right to get that point across. And then once you've gotten it across, you don't get to berate us and criticize us because we don't agree, Because there is direct polling on this that the majority of Americans, the vast majority, do not agree with the rhetoric of the left, some of these positions they take, which are just whack.
Yeah, they seem really, really flawed.
They've turned off their own people. That's why more Democrats are switching to Republican than in history.
Right.
I mean, maybe the Civil War did it.
Yeah,
did it a little better.
Right. Right.
But I mean, the whole North became Republican. They were Whigs and Farmer Party and all. But they became Republicans because of Lincoln. Because Lincoln stood for what was right and paid the ultimate price.
And so there's some comparisons here, right?
Yes, there is.
Some people that really want to invoke change. Abraham Lincoln did it. Martin Luther King did it as well.
Martin Luther King did it.
He spoke out for what was right.
It brought forward the whole movement of civil rights. Yeah. He kind of put the dot on top of the I. I mean,
he dotted the I.
Yeah, he dotted the I because it was done after that. He had paid the ultimate price, and no one was going to fight against that.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jeff, maybe Charlie crossed the T, and in doing so, it took his life.
Yeah.
They took his life.
Harmeet Dillon, who is the Undersecretary at Department of Justice for Civil Rights, has shifted the entire narrative at civil rights away from Project Accomplished, that people have guaranteed rights that have been bestowed on them for 40, 50 years that are working for them.
Right.
But the focus of that department is now no longer racial. It's now ethical and political civil rights. Like all the parents that got cited by the FBI that we don't think you should be speaking at school board meetings.
Right.
That was horrendous.
So now it should be about political civility.
It has to be about political civility after this.
Right.
How can they escape judgment if they don't become more civil? And listen, we've been trying to say, will you just listen to us?
Yeah.
Can we talk?
Can we just have can we just stand up to the mic and share with what we're thinking?
Right.
Can we just come to the table?
Yeah. Well, what their fear is, and it was proven through this last 4 years, is that if the American public stopped being led by the nose and started being led by their brain, they would understand our positions and come around. The
Right.
black males did in 2024.
Right.
You know, my early, I handled Albert Guillory's campaign in CD6, and one of our early synopsises of what was going on in the country led us to believe, hey, they're not just talking about this, it's actually happening. Because if you looked at the early voter statistics about who was changed into parties, in North Carolina, in Florida, and in Pennsylvania. Now, people say Pennsylvania, well, that's not a southern state, you know. No. Pennsylvania has been described as the East Coast, the West Coast in Pittsburgh and the East Coast in Philadelphia with Alabama in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. So we kind of understand that there's a working ethic there.
Right.
And that the black males picked up on that people that worked were starting to say Republican things, starting to talk about Trump.
Right.
And that was the death knell of the Democrat Party. And of course, it's in full meltdown. Now, there's less than 33% of Democrats think that the Democrats are doing even a decent job.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and so as we close here, it's a sad day, but I think it's very important that Charlie Kirk and his memory and his legacy will be about continued change. It's got to be.
I would recommend that people listen to his sermons, not his rhetoric. Listen to what he told people about Christ that lived inside of him.
Right.
Because he was the man of mercy and grace and of tremendous
Christian ethics.
Tremendous ethics. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Jeff. We appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. I got a whole lot more right here on Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by Rouse's Markets. Feels like home.